Hi, and welcome to Starlight Talks. I'm here with Annette, and we're going to talk about LifeMAP. She's my LifeMAP coach. I'm really excited to talk to you guys. So, as usual, leave your comments below and your questions. We'll get to as many of them as possible. Also, check out the website, OurTism.com, where I have my blog where I write about living on the spectrum. There's all these other wonderful things you can check out, such as our support groups. We have a support group tomorrow. What is it next? No
week.
Support group tomorrow, but next Thursday we'll have the adult support group for those on the spectrum. So go check that out. And then also LifeMAP, and I have that linked in the description. So if you want to book that after you hear about the wonderful program. I also have linked in the description the 10 Things I Hate About You reunion. If you want to get tickets for that, that's March 1st. There's still a few VIP tickets left if you want to get those. And also my workshop. If you want to go to the Florida workshop, me and Daddy will talk about, Daddy Rady from Asperger Experts and Lillian, we're going to talk about what we wish our parents did differently. So come to Florida and come meet us.
So Orlando, the best place in Florida.
I do these talks, these live streams every Wednesday at 7 Pacific Standard Time for about an hour. Next week, I have Ella London coming back on, Miss Sunshine, so we're going to talk about her and her love of yellow, how she wears yellow every day, just like me. I'm really excited to have her back this week. Annette on the live stream on Starlight Talks, and we're going to talk about LifeMAP. So do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yes, hi, my name is Annette Lombardi. I have my master's in social work. I'm part of the OurTism team, which is just such a privilege, and it's wonderful to sit here next to Chloe. I'm really super proud of her and all that she's been doing at OurTism, but also that I'm privileged to coach her, and she's just, dream client. So, but anyway, all my clients are dream clients, honestly. I love doing what I do. And I want to just talk about it a little bit because it seems like it's tricky to communicate what we do just through a brochure or through some reading material. So we thought it would be a much easier way for me to talk about it a little. And of course, and Chloe can talk about her take on it. So what is LifeMAP? LifeMAP is a program that was developed by Asperger Autism Network, which is an agency in Boston. They developed it in 2008, and OurTism received extensive training to bring it here to California as part of our curriculum. And it's a tested formula. Over 1,000 individuals were successfully served by coaches at the master's level with autism experience. So there's proof of really successful outcomes. It's evidence-based. LifeMAP provides practical assistance to adults with ASD, one-to-one life coaching, just in an office. We meet in the community, in a client's home, whatever is really needed. Sometimes I've met my clients at the grocery store, at Costco, just different locations to sort of, whatever the skill or the thing that we're working on, we'll try to do that. I think Chloe and I have gone, we've done some photography journeys together, so that's been really fun. Okay, and the things that we discuss are independent living, daily routine, executive function areas, navigating social situations, budgeting, hygiene. That's generally what we do. And then we typically sign a contract. So if I'm going to work with Chloe, we would go over just how we would work. We would kind of, come up with a mutual contract, developing goals, and we pretty much go, about a 2-month period is kind of the minimum to try to see how LifeMAP can work. And then we reevaluate that ever so often as a team. As a one-to-one, we'll reevaluate. If something's not working, we'll try to reevaluate, do a different approach. So we're very open, we're very flexible. And I'm going through a few different papers here that I have, and I'd love to offer them to you after this is over via email if you want a little bit more information about what I discussed tonight. Sometimes visually it's good to review that way. So another thing is that we have some sub-program areas that I think, if I break it down, this is how I work with people. So there's some clients that really need resume and interview prep. So that's an area that I've done a lot of work on with clients, and our coaches will work with within that realm. Some clients want to do internships. So there's internship prep, which is a little bit different, but it still includes resumes. Some might just want to have self-employment or SSI, so that's all covered into that area. So we also do LifeMAP kind of, so we help people determine good job fit, help with job searches, maintaining employment. All of that, can be varied from client to client. So college is another area. We can help clients transition into college, problem solve, address issues that arise in college, help with transition from college into the next steps. With teens, any issues relating to high school, social interactions, executive functioning, etc. And older adults after college and beyond, we have worked with clients from up into their 80s. I think we have one client. So social interactions, it can be very critical, and dealing with anxiety, various living transitions, moving out, transitioning into the workforce, retiring, budgeting. So all of those services go into the older and beyond. But again, these are flexible. We go from the resume prep maybe to the budgeting to daily living skills. So things really move around according to the client's needs. So that's one of the areas. Now, who do we serve? At OurTism, of course, we serve the autism spectrum and Asperger profile, individuals from the teenage years up into the oldest clients that we have. Autism spectrum disorder is a neurodevelopmental disorder, and it often co-occurs with other diagnoses under the neurodevelopmental disorders such as ADHD, learning disabilities, social communication disorders. So in that vein, we are an inclusive community, and we also serve others with neurological differences that feel that they can benefit from our services. So you don't necessarily have to have a diagnosis of autism, but that's also, so we're open to somebody who just feels that, hey, I have a lot of executive functioning issues, and this might be the best approach for me. My daughter has a diagnosis of attention deficit and autism, and so we address her different needs. So we're really experienced with the co-occurring diagnoses. Our autism serves children, families, parents, teens, adults, professionals, although right now our primary focus with LifeMAP is on the adult and teen community. So good fits for coaching. As I mentioned, individuals on the autism spectrum, others who might have related conditions such as executive functioning deficits. And again, executive functioning deficits are in about 80% of clients with autism. So, and executive functioning includes so many different areas, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But we also we serve individuals with learning disabilities, as I said before, ADHD, social communication, and all the neurodevelopmental disorders. But one of the things that we need our clients to do is to have the capacity to participate in goal setting and the coaching process. So they need to be able to talk about it. They need to identify goals for themselves with the assistance of the coach. They need to demonstrate their own desire to participate. We don't force them to do this, and parents, might want them to, but unless they're willing and they want to do it, such in the case of Chloe, I mean, I couldn't have forced her. So yeah, they need to be open to acquiring new skills, trying new strategies, and which can be hard for our clients. You might have to move slowly in this area because, and so we're patient. And
what this isn't all included, because one of our important things that we really value is that the person with autism, their voice is the most important voice always in the room. So it's what they want to do, what they want to focus on. Because I've been part of so many programs where that is not the case, and even just school can be where focused on what the parents want. Therapy can even focus on what the parents want. Like, there's so many different things that I've been in where like doctors look to the adult in the room, even a caretaker, even after I was 18. Like, oh, you have autism, so I have to look to somebody else, instead of asking me directly, well, what do you want? What do you want to focus on? And and we can read bullshit so easily, those of us on the spectrum. And I definitely had people pretend like they were going to take my word over anyone else's, and they didn't. And I could read right through them, like, you are bullshitting me. You don't actually care about what I have to say. Where this program is all about that individual that is our client, and what they want to focus on is the most important. So in order for that to work, you have to want to be there. And so if you keep showing up having not done anything that you said you were going to do, that you wanted to work toward, we also don't take that personally either, because that's not a failure and that's not a bad thing. But we're going to talk about, hey, why is it that you don't actually want to meet that goal? Is somebody else telling you want to meet that goal? Or are you forced to be here and don't really want to be here for whatever reason? Is there somewhere else you would rather be that's a better fit for you? So all of that is really important, that the person with autism, or the person that is in that coaching meeting with the coach, has the most important voice in the room. And so we take that voice very seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. And jump in anytime I'm talking, by the way.
Yeah, I definitely feel that very validated in my coaching sessions. I never feel judged, because I've definitely had weeks and weeks and weeks where it came in and I didn't do anything. And I never feel judged to say that. And I've definitely felt judged in other environments and really embarrassed, and so I make up stuff or lie or whatever, and I feel like I can be honest, and we work through whatever we're working through in order to get what needs to be done. And it's a very comfortable environment for me to be able to express myself and deal with things that are hard for me. And
I think that's important. Awesome. And the one thing I wanted to add about what Chloe said is there are times where you might not complete something, and yeah, it could be a lack of motivation or somebody's forcing you to do it or whatever, but it could also be a great time to say, oh, why? Yeah. What can we, that's a learning experience. And sometimes our greatest learning can come from things that we don't complete, or, for challenges, so those are areas that we work on as well. And yeah, everything is on the table and there's no judgment. So yeah, I like that. So some areas of coaching. So this is also, specific things that we really can help with. We are, the first and foremost is to identify individual strengths, interests, and qualifications, and that's the way that we work in a positive psychology format, where we really want to bring out the best in you, and I think that will make you feel empowered. We have, sometimes we'll work to improve social and soft skills for building personal and professional relationships. And that can be really hard for our clients because, teamwork, attitude, places and conflict resolution are skills, soft skills that are really valued now in the professions. And those can be hard things for our clients. So we can, really work on that if that's an area that you're struggling with. Identifying the best places of employment for you, good fits, environment, there's so many factors where we'll go into that. I have that as one of the goals I'm going to go over. Developing good skills for the workplace. So executive functioning. What is executive functioning? A really good way to look at executive functioning is it's brain-based skills that are required for individuals to execute or perform tasks. So that's like sort of a very simple way to say it, but again, 80% of clients on the autism spectrum have executive functioning, and that's all, it's in the prefrontal cortex area, and those, it's not a diagnosis, and actually it's not a criteria of diagnosis for people on the autism spectrum. In fact, it's not a criteria of almost any diagnosis, but it exists, which is really interesting. So just thought that was, so there's working memory, planning and organization of materials, being able to transition, to monitor yourself. There's so many areas. So all of those things, impact your daily life, your job, time management. So all of that we work on. Establishing routines to support independent living. That's so important. Assessing social opportunities, community resources. A big one, managing anxiety, regulation of emotions. Those are huge, would you say?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And self-advocacy and strategic disclosure of the disability. And that's something that I think is really interesting because disclosing a disability, and if you do it just a little bit, to whom, all of those things, we're really, really, experts in our, in this field with people who have disabilities or, autism spectrum disorder. So self-awareness, really important. Building on your personal strengths, minimizing your challenges, and then establishing and effectively using a support network and trying to see who that is, who can be there for you, during these times, and how to maybe engage in a new one that's maybe you don't have one that's like been great right now. So, and that's what's nice about our full service agency, being that we also have, support groups and various things, right? So, and we have Chloe and we have Gail and all the different people that work there and the service dogs. Now, it's just a wonderful place what we can, have all these different, workshops and et cetera. So
I've worked on so many different goals. We worked on communication with my parents at one point. We worked on emotional regulation. We worked on self-care. We worked on planning my birthday party. We worked on the Starlight talks and the logistics of how do I set up guests and how do I talk to them to prepare them. And we went through so many different things, and then there were sometimes I'd come in, I didn't get anything done. What happened? Did you get sick? Did this happen? Did that happen? And we worked out, and I found out I had struggles in areas I didn't realize that there was something in the way of getting something done, and we figured out what it was and it together, and then how to get through that. And so it's really cool having someone that it keeps me accountable and then also is on my side if something comes up. So, and it's really nice to not feel judged in those areas, because you can feel very vulnerable when you're talking about, this is something that I've always struggled with and I don't know what to do about it, and everyone gives me bad advice and they tell me just suck it up or that kind of thing, and that I always felt very validated in coaching sessions, and we worked through everything that I recognize as something I want to work through. And if I say, you know, I'm not ready to work on that right now, then okay, we'll come back to that later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the feedback. We should have a coach feedback session. Yeah. So
I think I even critiqued the paperwork because we got the paperwork at the beginning. I'm like, oh, we have to redo this. I hate doing paperwork, so I went through with my mom and I edited the paperwork so that it was more clear and we didn't have repeat questions and all that. I was like, okay, let's make this more concise so people don't have to do too much work.
Yeah, I'll try to keep it as low keyed as possible in terms of that. So
yeah, so I'm always critiquing the program too, making sure it works for everybody. But it's really good. I get a lot out of it.
I think what's nice too, I mean, one thing that you do that I have done with other clients too, is that there will be times where, and I'm sure it happens in, per therapy with neurotypicals, but you have an assignment and you might not have completed it, but you really want to complete it. And you just need that extra support of the person, that you're there. So it might be calling a bill collector or something because you don't know exactly what to say. And, I'm just there in the room while the client, and that's the other thing, coach is really encouraging the client to do the work. So we can give suggestions, we can role play, we can, do all sorts of things, but it's really to try to empower them so that they can do it, right? So Chloe also has sometimes brought in something that she wants to have some help on doing, and then we'll brainstorm together. And it was a writing a few times, it was different writing things, or just accessing a school, figuring out some stuff at school. And I think I've done that with people in terms of accommodations. But so it's like, it's hard to navigate things and to figure out and read between the lines. So sometimes just being there to support them and to teach them how to do it on their own. That's eventually the goal.
And I've brought other people into the session. I've brought my mom in, I brought my dad in, I brought my sister in, and if there's something that I need to work on with them, whether it's communicating with them or just a project with them, I'm like, you know what, I need another person to help with this. And so we've gone into those sessions together. So you can even bring another person in, and so that's been really helpful too.
Yeah. That's great. And I think, so that's nice for us to share a little bit about our goals. And I was just, I have some different examples of goals. I think one I'll really talk about maybe. And one is like, so say we have a goal of exercising. One of the things to consider with exercising, right, is this client comes in, hey, I really want to exercise. I don't know what to do. I know I hear it's supposed to help with anxiety. Great. All right. So some things to consider is explore what type of exercise do you want to do? Do you want to jog, walk? Do you want to go to a gym? If you want to go to a gym, is it feasible? So this is the thought process of a coach. If a walk is preferred, what kind of route or safe place do you want to walk? What do you want to wear? How to prepare? Like some clients might not know that they need, good shoes, or maybe they want to do yoga, so they don't need shoes, so it's like, there's a lot of things to explore. And if you want to go to the gym, where do you, what do you do? What do you enter the facility? Like, do you just stand there, and how do you get in? Do you talk to people?
How do you get a membership?
Yeah,
do you need a membership?
Wait, what about noise, sensory stuff? Oh, you can use earbuds. Do you want it? Can you do that? How do you create a more pleasant experience in that way? Then there's the scheduling. How many days a week do you have available? What's your time like? How do we put that into your time? So a specific goal might be to give to the client, research local gyms, cost, choose one that might fit your budget. If that's a gym, assess what type of exercise you'll want to participate in, clothing, shoes you will need. So sometimes it's even like going, to target, like maybe, if you need this or that, let's look up online, what store might have this, what's your budget like, and so it's a work in progress with as a coach and client. and, scheduling the routine, bringing the earbuds. How do you walk when you walk into the gym? What exactly is your routine that you're going to do? I've had to do this with clients before. So almost, we go through step by step what they want to do for the first 10 minutes for the, if they want to go for a half an hour, what are they going to do during that time? Are they going to go on the treadmill for 15 minutes? Are they going to try some weights? So anyway, that's just a little glimpse about how we might want to outline and the way that a coach and a client would work on something.
Yeah. And you do it one at a time. It's not overwhelming like that.
Yeah. Does that sound too overwhelming?
Yeah, that was a lot of information.
Yeah.
So it's really broken down into really easy steps where it's like, okay, step 1, do this. Okay, why didn't you do step 1? Okay, after you complete step 1, what's step 2? And so it's made really simple, really easy. And if you can do step 1 and 2, then you can be given multiple steps. Or if you can only do the first step and that the time you're given, then just do the 1 step. If you need to do it all in the session and can't do any at home, then it's done all in the session. So there's so much it's really geared toward the person, what they need and what they can handle. So
yeah, and it's not and I think I was just giving you that to see the thinking process of what it was like to develop the breakdowns of the different, just to say, there's a lot of little things that if you're on the autism spectrum or you have executive functioning issues that we take for granted. We just walk in a gym, we do these things, our brain sort of just leads us around and we're comfortable with that. But somebody on the spectrum might need us to to chunk things, to break it down into mini goals and things like that. So, and again, everybody's so different. And their goals aren't always going to be exercise. I mean, that's always something I like to bring up because I think it's a wonderful way for people to deal with their anxiety and to feel strong. I have a client that does push-ups every day, like a certain amount, because he said that he wanted to have a stronger upper body. And so that's what he likes to do, and so I don't think he misses a day. So that's great. So, the qualities of a coach are really important. And I think some of the things that I really hope our coaches at OurTism and want them to be trained to be is flexible, positive, starting where the client is, trying not to overwhelm, just like Chloe said, we wouldn't overwhelm you with all these different goals. Check in frequently with the client. So, for example, we might set something up and the client will come back and not do it. Well, that also may be on the coach, hey, maybe, I need to reevaluate. I might have just pushed you a little bit too much. And, I want to check in with you to make sure this is working out. Is it okay if I talk like this? Or, we check in with the client, making sure that they feel that our communication is good for them. Also, making a plan how to break it down, not focusing on big goals, like Chloe said, but on smaller ones. And we hope to make them feel that what they thought was not possible is now possible. So that's one of our wishes for them. So that's what I hope, and I think whatever it may be, whether it may be a struggle with family members or with just the littlest thing, we're just really hoping to improve the quality of life. So let me just see. And how is progress defined, and how does it sort of move through the phases? I do want to mention again, and I think I did, but I just want to mention that we like to meet with clients for at least 10 sessions. It just doesn't seem to work really well unless there's a number of sessions, because unless we're doing just like sort of an interview prep, or they just need one piece, which we are more than open to doing. It takes some time to do these things, to be able to see the progress. So observing, these are some of the things that I've put down as a way to say, okay, we've really accomplished stuff. So if we observe, improve self-awareness and the ability to identify appropriate life goals, That's a success. Ability for the client to participate in community events and activities, so they're getting out and they're starting to, be able to celebrate their life. If they have diminished levels of anxiety, increase better coping strategies, that we've seen that can occur, and increase self-esteem and confidence, the ability to communicate with greater independence, and better in interacting with community members or their job or supervisors or coworkers, having improvement in dress and hygiene. And then we sort of see the evidence for the decreased need for coaching. So then that sort of gets pulled back once we see how that's all defined. So that's the way that we go on our coaching cycle. So anything you want to add?
I love coaching. So you guys should sign up for LifeMAP. I think it's an amazing program. I have it linked in the description if you're interested. If you don't live in the area, we can do Skype.
Mm-hmm.
If you live in the area, please come into the office. I think it's an amazing experience to come in. But if you can't handle leaving your house, that doesn't mean you can't join LifeMAP. We have Skype sessions, and we'll help you work on that. And there's a free consultation. So if you're on the edge, there's a free consultation. You can go in, learn all about it. Talk about what you want to work on, and the coach will be like, okay, here are the things we think we can do together, and then you can decide from there if you want to do it. It's free. Why not try it?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like it, you don't have to come back, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So, and then we also have coaching for parents. We'll coach parents on how to interact with their loved one on the spectrum. So caretakers, grandparents, family members, anyone that wants to learn more about autism and how to interact with your loved one, your special person. Mm-hmm. We also do that, and it's a very similar way of it to LifeMAP. So you can sign up for that also. Free consultation for that.
Yeah, so I think if you go online we are in process of changing our website next week. So, and right now, if you sign up today, you can book through our website, and
you can book through the website, you can email, or you can call.
You can call
whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah, whatever.
Contact OurTism.
You could text, too.
Yeah.
Text a number. Can you?
I don't think we have cell phones up there.
Oh, we don't. Okay.
Can't text. Sorry.
Can't text.
After the consultation, you can.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So the consultation is 30 minutes. Usually runs a little longer than that. We'll give you a little leeway, and it's free. And you'll meet with one of the coaches, and we would love to meet with you. So, and develop any kind of plan, strategies, all these areas. And again, we're so flexible. It's exciting. I love this work. I think it is something that I just treasure, and I hope to meet one of you that's watching.
Mm-hmm. And we don't turn anyone away. So scholarships are available if you need them. Mm-hmm. And we take paying clients so that we can take other people who can't pay. Yeah. So, and it is I believe it's a sliding scale of payment. So there's all so please check it out. There's no reason not to.
Right.
So if you're at all interested, please check it out. I highly recommend it. I'm a client of it, and I love it. And we're always looking for feedback to make it better. If you guys have suggestions as well, don't be afraid to say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's really important to any program, and why there's, as we develop and have more clients, a big component we'd like to implement is to have it be based on research. So we'd like to eventually just really see, whatever's not happening, or if there's ways to improve it, that we would love to do that. And as Chloe says, she's ready to give her 2 cents if she feels that she has a great idea, or if there's something that's not going right. And that's the wonderful thing about OurTism, is because there is a sense of being able to communicate with each other and having people on the spectrum really talk about what it feels like, and be verbal and visible about that. So it really helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So LifeMAP it's great. So check it out.
So we don't have too many questions, right?
No, we don't.
We know Grandma's watching.
Yes.
And Kevin said hi.
Hi. Thank you for coming back every single week.
Oh, that's so nice.
Molly, do you see that?
Oh, wait.
Do you see
Molly?
Molly?
Oh.
Felice.
Did they leave
great.
comments, or they just?
No, just
listening.
They just joined.
Okay.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, so we did discuss for the last 30 minutes or so in detail about LifeMAP. So if you've missed any of that, you can go back and listen to that.
And I'm also there's now a YouTube channel for Starlight Talks, where after I finish, I'll upload it there. So if you prefer YouTube to watch, I will be doing that, and I'll try to maintain that, keep that up.
You are one busy lady.
Yeah.
How do you do it all?
I spent
And the other thing
working
that's
on that.
amazing, I have to say, is that Chloe has not missed a week since she started this. And I think, every week it's important to her to have her clients come on, and she makes them feel welcome. I feel, like a star being next to her. This is my first Facebook Live ever. I was a little bit nervous, I must say, when I first thought about doing that, but I really wanted to, promote our program of LifeMAP. And it's so easy to sit next to you and just be able to talk. There's just a really nice energy you impart. So there's not very many people I know that would be so creative and, hardworking as you do, just doing this every week. I think it's wonderful. Yeah, so you've really given a lot of people a voice. You see Steve?
Yeah, Steve says,
we're big fans.
love you guys went to your workshop a few weeks ago.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that was an awesome workshop.
Mm-hmm.
It was so fun to do. I'm doing another in Florida.
She's doing another in Florida. So if you happen to be dropping by, or if you know anybody, that's even more important. That if you can pass the word, it's just wonderful. You're getting out there.
Well, thank you for coming to the workshop. It was really awesome. And thank you for joining my live stream. Did you find me through the workshop? Was that the first time you saw me? Because there's a lot of people that didn't know me from that, and there was a few people who didn't know Danny because they came from OurTism, but more people came from Asperger experts than from OurTism. But it was really cool to meet so many new people. And I'm starting a mentorship, and my first mentee showed up to the workshop. So it was really cool that meet everyone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited to do that again. And I have new workshops in development. Yes, we've been telling everybody about you guys. Oh, thank you.
That's great.
I was going through some, I'm in a bunch of autism groups, and online I saw someone asking, where can I find advice about autism from people with autism? And somebody had recommended OurTism, and that was so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That it wasn't one of the OurTism members, it's just somebody recommended us. So I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, the more the merrier, and so I think it's exciting just to see all these new people that are tuning in, and watching these, because you give a lot of information. It's not
Yeah.
just about autism. I mean, tonight
Yeah.
we're talking about LifeMAP because what we've come across is that, again, it's hard to communicate exactly all that LifeMAP entails. Really can't do it on a brochure alone. So, hopefully we'll have a link and even just the first part just to give people a good feeling of what LifeMAP can do. But Chloe brings up all sorts of issues, different interesting people, sharing her experience, and it's so invaluable. I don't know anyone else that's doing this, so I think it's a great format.
Yeah, I love talking to you guys, getting your questions, and it's really cool that you guys are listening to me, because I don't think you understand how rare it is. I actually get a lot of, in the past, I've got a lot of people going, you don't know what you're talking about, you're just a kid, you didn't go to college, all those kind of things. And so, like, I have autism, and I do feel like I understand autism. And so you guys listening to me and then taking that advice, it makes me feel good, because I don't want people who are just going through that diagnosis and younger to go through what I went through. It was a lot. And I talk about a lot of the things I went through on these live streams, and I met people who were like, "Oh my God, I want my kid to be just like you." And I was joking with my friends, like, "Oh, you want your kid to go through all that crap?" Oh, I hope one day they do. But I get what you guys mean, and it's really awesome. You guys, if you're listening to these live streams, and you're great parents and you're great family members, and if you don't know anyone with autism, oh my God, that's even more awesome.
Exactly.
Spreading more information, like, because there just needs to be more information out there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So yeah, I definitely want to do more things and spread more information about autism.
Well, I think support, what you talk about, has to do with the support, like, because if you're talking about your experience and somebody says, wow, that happened to me too, there's no better validation than that, and the way that you talk and the way that others can hear will create change. I mean, we also have a support group that I just want to promo a little bit, but that also is the same feeling when you're in a support group with people who experience the same things. I mean, that's so validating and helpful.
It was very lonely being on the spectrum, because really nobody really understood what I was going through, and I didn't realize how universal my story was, because I didn't really know other people on the spectrum. And when I started sharing it, so many people were like, yeah, that's exactly what I went through. And I was like, I thought everyone with autism was so different, but we actually have a lot of these same qualities and symptoms, even if they're portrayed differently. So everyone has trouble with transitions, but you'll see the behavior about that transition will be very different. But all of us on the spectrum have trouble with some sort of transition, whether that's physically leaving something or mentally leaving a space from math to science, or is it leaving the house and going to another location, or is it just turning off the TV? But we all struggle with that, and definitely neurotypicals do too. They just they all deal with it their own way. We deal with it differently, and so it's great that you guys are listening to my advice and like, oh, here's what worked for me, and it's working for you guys too. And you're trying different things and going outside the box, because it's all really great to just support each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kathy?
Yes, the connection from hearing the stories you and Danny went through, I left so happy. Oh, so we're back talking about the workshop again.
She asked if we
Are we gonna have more workshops in the South Bay? Definitely. I don't know if we'll bring the same one back, but we're working, me and Lillian and my mom are working on 2 new workshops that I'm really, really excited about. They're just at the beginning stages, so I don't really want to say too much about it yet, because it will definitely change as we develop it. But I'm really excited.
We are having a workshop coming up at the end of February. And that's we're co-hosting one with the Jewish Federation on it's sold out. So so that was really exciting, and that's on the what's
Cal-able accounts.
Cal-able accounts. And so yeah, we're going to have a lot of workshops. That's one of the things that OurTism is really committed to doing, to bring to people. So it might be on different topics. We did have an Enneagram workshop in the past. That was really wonderful and exciting. And we've had 2 of those.
We'll do that again.
Yeah, we'll bring that back again. So, but there's just a lot of different helpful tools that I think that, moving forward, that's on our, list of much more to come.
Yeah, there's so many new cool things happening that I really want to tell you guys about.
Yeah.
It's so weird being like, I can't tell you. Yeah, so we'll definitely have events and workshops and all different things in the future. It's a lot of work to put on this stuff, so we gotta do the prep. Once those workshops are made, we can definitely do them over and over, but we got make them. That takes time and energy. And I'm working on this too.
So the studies are really this, live stream, our support group, our LifeMAP. Those are our 3 going on no matter what. The workshops are going to be are routinely coming up. Those are things in progress, but we intend to have those on a regular basis. So you can,
and we're planning on bringing some regular social stuff and some like more fun stuff.
Yes. We did have that for a while.
Yeah. So we're planning on bringing that back. Not sure what form it'll take, but we are planning on bringing that back and doing that regularly. We just hit a bump with that. We'll bring that back because that's needed and it's been requested. So yeah, that'll be back too. So we'll have some fun social gatherings.
And if you have, anybody listening has any interest in social gatherings and social groups, please contact us. Let us know what your thoughts are about that. We'd love to hear from you.
So Cassie says, can you tell me more about the prefrontal cortex? I missed the beginning.
Okay. So the prefrontal cortex is a part of the brain that deals with executive functioning. So we were talking about that. I actually have a picture. I don't know if you can see, but yeah. So there are. Is your question a little bit about executive functioning? Because that's where the deficits of executive functioning come in. There are other parts of the brain where different things happen, like the temporal lobe, I think has to do with just spatial development, stuff like that. But I can give you a little bit more information on that if you'd like, or, so there are just various areas. I'm going to just pull this out because I need to refer to my sheet. So like working memory, for example, is the ability to manipulate information and generate goals, plans in a sequential manner. So working memory would be like, I'm going to go out the door, but I'm going to get my keys, it's raining, I need to put my, raincoat on, all the different sequence of things that you need to do because you know what you need to do before you do it. So, and sometimes if your brain doesn't have all the connections right in the prefrontal cortex, or there's some deficits there, that you might need reminders for a lot of these things, like planning and organizing, or organization of materials. Like, have you ever noticed maybe your room is a mess, or or you don't know where to put things? It's just you can't really just physically, manage that. So you might need little containers for different kinds of things, or in the backpack my daughter's backpack used to be unbelievable. And I'm sure a lot of people's are. I mean, there are deficits. We all struggle with deficits. Our world has gotten so much more difficult and, complex.
I definitely
Mhm.
want to do an episode with my sister about different brains and how they think and process things, because she has color code. She color codes everything, and so like beyond everything beyond color coded. But that didn't really work for me, even though I'm a very visual person, and because I'm kinesthetic, and so so when she isn't color coding her stuff, it doesn't
Right.
make sense. Where mine could look a mess, but I knew where everything was. So there's very different ways that the brain works to organize, and it'll definitely look very similar to what you see in like that binder or the bedroom.
Right.
Where if it's a hectic bedroom, it's probably a hectic mind. Yeah. So
that's definitely an issue. There are some other problems like initiate, to be able to, that's a big one for my daughter too, initiating activity, like to independently generate the ideas and the sequence of it. Like say that there's a homework assignment that needs to be done, and your child is just can't get that. It's just like the brain, it's harder. And so there needs to be some different strategies, some tools, some things, some reminders, with a alarm on a phone or something, or if that, I'm just throwing out stuff, but you know what I'm saying? Like everybody has a different way of getting that to work. And then shifting, like being able to go from task to task. That's really hard for a lot of people on the spectrum. So that's, and if you're interrupted during that, right?
There's, I remember a session in the support where we talked about how good that hyperfocus can feel. And what's great about it is you can get a lot of work done, but you get stuck. So if you're hyper-focusing on the wrong thing, like video games or TV or reading a book instead of doing your work, then it's really hard. It's really hard to get out of that hyper-focus, even to eat, even to like do things that you need to do. Even go to the bathroom. People have accidents because they're hyper-focused. So it's figuring out how to self-regulate and go, okay, you know what? I need to get out of this state of mind, because it does feel really good to hyper-focus. And so, but then it's like, but I need to hyper-focus right now. How do I do that? So there's that transition can also be hard to do. Yeah, I know. I hyper-focused and wrote a whole musical.
Right. And I think there's like the hyper-focusing is one thing, but just to be able to shift when there needs to be a shift, that's just such a hard thing. Like if there's, okay, I'm in the middle of your hyper-focus and now I have to go, to this next activity, and you can't get them to do that, or they just, it's their brain. It's like they, like you said, how do you get out of that hyper-focus? What is your methods, or, what may you do to help that? Emotional regulation is another area too. So do you have any tips on that? So able to regulate emotional responses appropriately, meaning that you just need to, be aware. It's like self-awareness may be something, so yeah. And let's see, what if there's other things. There's monitoring, being able to check work and to assess one's own performance, the ability to keep track of an impact of one's behavior on other people. So that's also just being able to, know how you perform. That's in itself, difficult. So all of these are areas, and if you're weak in any of them, that's just your brain. It's not connecting as it should be. So I just feel like taking, if a parent can sort of see that they're not being lazy, that they're just being, that this is just their brain is not working in the same way. It may look like this, but that's not really what's happening. And I think one way to really understand if you're having executive functioning deficits is to get, of course, a neuropsychological, which really can give you details on what those might be. And there are also some tests and things that you can do off the cuff, but a really good psychological can help, define those. But with and you can also see when you're young, you can get through that. But as you age during different periods of time, like, so I think they say like kindergarten, third grade, sixth grade, college, and adulthood, and there's like a line that goes up, and how much harder it is when you're an adult because you have so many more things that are expected of you. So that's where it gets really trying, and why we see that's where they need support. That's why people could use some coaching or some connection with others in support groups, or by listening to Chloe on this website, just to sort of say, oh, okay, that's a great idea. That will work,
Mm-hmm. All right, so we have a few minutes left.
Oh, wow,
So
that went
we're gonna
fast.
start wrapping
This is my
up.
first one. I did
It goes by so fast.
We did it, Chloe.
So we have a few minutes left. So if anyone wants to leave some final questions, we'll try to get to those. Do you have anything that you'd like to say before we wrap up?
Not really.
Final messages for anyone?
Final messages. Well,
it's like believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself. Yes, you're worth it. I believe really strongly in self-compassion, and just really, and I talk to my clients about this because they beat themselves up all the time. But are there times where you can just put your hand on your heart? I tried my best. It's okay. Really try to encourage people to have a lot more self-compassion and kindness to themselves. It's just, yes, we do need as parents. We're trying. Yeah. So just really remember, you have to be your biggest support sometimes. I mean, it's great to have others, but when you start to beat yourself up, it's just not going to go well for you. So if you can just kind of take a step back and say, I know I tried really hard there. That can be a way to have self-compassion. I didn't do it this time, but I tried. Just softens it a little. So that's my parting wisdom for the night.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. Come back next week, Wednesday, because I do these live streams every week, Wednesday, 7 Pacific Standard Time. Ella London is going to be on next week. If you don't know who she is,
she's cool.
She is Miss Sunshine.
Pictures of you guys.
She's Miss Sunshine. She had a viral video that went around about how she wears yellow every day. So she's really cool. She has a whole blog about spreading sunshine and how it's important to be positive and spread positivity and do what makes you happy, all that kind of stuff. She's so awesome. So she's going to come back. If you want to watch the past one and get caught up, we did one before. So that's available on YouTube and also here on Facebook on the OurTism page. So
look at everybody.
Thank you for all the comments. So come back next week to watch that. Also check out OurTism.com where you please book your free consultation to LifeMAP. Please check it out. We have support groups and my blog. Check out my blog. I write some really cool things about living on the spectrum. There's stuff about transitioning. There's stuff about defense mode, all different things. There's stories that put you right into like what that experience is like. As someone on the spectrum, and I love hearing stories about how people have read it with their children and they bonded together and connected over things they were feeling. So that's really awesome. Also, yeah. Also linked in the description, March 1st, we have the 10 Things I Hate About You reunions. Please come. The event is raising money for OurTism. Super excited for that. There's cast and crew gonna be there for a Q&A. We're gonna be there, of course. So come say hi to us in person. My service dog will be there. You can meet Benji. You can meet Luke. So it's 90s theme. We're getting out our 90s gear for the party.
90s
Yeah.
thing. Feels like yesterday. I'll be there too.
Yeah.
See you there.
And then you can also get tickets to my Florida workshop. There's also a link for that in the description. So check all that fun stuff out. And come back next week. Stay colorful.
Bye.
Bye.